Thank you for tuning in to Financials in Five. This is part two of the cautionary tale of the woman who conned herself and her kids out of their own success. So, we were talking about the prisoner that she was dating while she was in jail. So, as she was in prison, he was in prison. They actually got married. This woman, we'll just call her Patty, and then the prisoner guy, they actually got married. How did that happen, you ask? Well, the woman had used one of her friends that was, I have no idea. Like, she just used one of her friends in order to marry the guy, and they got married through that way. Some weird stuff, okay? That's not what this video is about. Long story short, though, he made her a lot of promises, all right? And when he finally got out of prison, there was a lot of things that had happened. So upon his release, he had two women waiting on him. One of them was the woman that his family approved of. And the last 2 years of his prison stay, he was involved with this woman. Keep in mind that Patty was with him for 20 years, okay? And when he gets outside, he sees both of them. They're all each on opposite sides. It kind of reminds me of that episode of The Bachelor or The Bachelorette. This is, it just gets interesting to me. He smiles. He walks over to the other woman that he's been with for 2 years. He gives her a peck on the cheek. And then he walks over to Patty and he hugs her and whispers some type of sweet nothing in her ear. Fasting forward, they get married, actually legally married, him and her, not like through a third party or anything. They go to the courthouse and they get married, and she begins to brag to her colleagues about how she's getting married now. At this point, that she's basically in retirement age. She's 63-ish or more at this point, because remember, he's been in prison for over 20 years, and she met the guy 20 years ago. Okay. And at this time, the youngest child who she made call this prisoner father, and this is not the child's father, they come to realize, oh, this is actually not my actual father. And not only that, unfortunately, she signs over a truck to him. So she takes a loan out from her job. All right, she's technically semi-retired at this point in time. She signs the truck over completely to him. That way he'll have a way to get back and forth to work. He runs off, not only with the truck, but with the other woman in that truck. And not only that, him and Patty, they start getting into these arguments, and he pushes her and starts cussing her out and mistreating her, and it gets really bad. And the person who was telling me this, they didn't get into too much of the detail because, I don't know, maybe they didn't know it or maybe they were embarrassed. But long story short, they end up getting a divorce. Yeah, they ended up getting a divorce. So at this point, she will be a 3-time divorcee. Now, I'm not sure if you are aware that divorces is actually another form of suing, which means whatever assets of the person who had the most money in that relationship, whatever they did have, if that other person in the relationship decides to divorce you and take some of that money, in most states legally they have a right to, unless of course you have a really, really good attorney. Okay, so that doesn't happen. So yes, they get a divorce, and again, at the expense of her own children and her own retirement, because she was supposed to be using that money for retirement and sending her last child off to college and just getting repairs on certain things within the home. And those things just didn't happen because of this situation. And till this day, she's still paying off that debt from her job. Because remember, she's not making that much money. She now has partial work for Social Security, and she works part-time, because I believe Social Security income will only allow you to work up to like 20 hours or something. And then, with her Social Security, that makes just a little bit of income. But yes, she had to go around just pretending that nothing was wrong. Whenever her colleagues would ask her, say, hey, how's the newlywed life? How's it going? She has to force a smile and fabricate tales. She was too humiliated to say to her own peer group and family that this man put his hands on her and that he essentially ran off with her money, because all that money that she put on his commissary and she gave him a little money when he got out, she never got it back. He was just using her. So I'm not really sure if he ever really loved her, but that just goes to show that Tina Turner was right. What's love got to do with it? Love is nothing more but a secondhand emotion. And not to say that there's no happy marriages out there. The point is that this particular woman just kind of had her priorities in the wrong place and looking for love in all the wrong places. And I wish them well, you know. But tell me what you think. Comments below. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and share. Thank you for tuning in. Happy financials in 5. Bye-bye.